In quiet neighborhoods, power goes wrong.
I still hear the latch. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just a soft metallic click, the kind no one notices unless they're listening for it. That sound came from my own backyard. And it meant my daughter had just been locked away by someone who believed rules mattered more than a child's humanity. It was an ordinary afternoon. The sun sat low, warm but gentle, casting long shadows across our lawn. My daughter, Emma, sat on the porch steps with her sketchbook balanced on her knees. Because of her disability, she tired easily, but drawing helped her relax. She drew trees, birds, little houses with smiling windows. "Dad," she said, holding up her page, "does this look real?" "It looks perfect," I replied. She smiled. That smile would be gone within the hour. Our neighborhood looked peaceful. Perfect, even. But peace enforced by fear is never real. The HOA here didn't just manage rules, they ruled people. And at the center of it all was Karen. She wasn't loud. She didn't shout. She smiled while doing damage. People said, just don't get on her bad side. I didn't think I ever would. Until Emma became an issue. A shadow crossed the porch. "Excuse me," a voice said. Karen stood at the gate, clipboard in hand, posture straight, smile thin. "Is there a problem?" I asked. She tilted her head slightly and glanced at Emma. "We've received concerns," she said. "About unauthorized structures." I frowned. "Structures?" She pointed vaguely toward the back. "Backyard usage," she clarified. "And safety compliance." Emma looked up, confused. "I'm just drawing," she said softly. Karen smiled at her, but it didn't reach her eyes. Karen flipped a page on her clipboard. "Children with special conditions must be supervised at all times in outdoor areas," she said. "I'm right here," I replied. She nodded. "Even so, certain accommodations can be disruptive." Disruptive. That word again. Emma lowered her sketchbook. "I don't make noise," she whispered. Karen ignored her. "I have a temporary solution," Karen said calmly. My stomach tightened. She gestured toward the backyard. A controlled space. Enclosed. Safe. I stared at her. "You're suggesting what, exactly?" She smiled wider. "Compliance." I wish I could say I was there when it happened. I wasn't. I had left briefly to pick up medication, 20 minutes, maybe less. Emma stayed in the yard, drawing near the garden, where I could still see her from the kitchen window. Karen must have been watching. Waiting. When I returned, something felt wrong. Too quiet. I called Emma's name. No answer. I stepped into the backyard, and that's when I saw it. A small enclosure near the shed. Not hidden, but placed like it belonged there. The gate was closed. That soft metallic click echoed in my head. Emma sat inside, knees pulled close, sketchbook clutched tightly. Her eyes weren't crying. They were searching. "Dad," she said. I rushed forward, heart pounding. "Who did this?" I demanded. She hesitated. "Miss Karen," she whispered. She said it was safer. I opened the latch immediately. Emma stepped out slowly, shaking. "She said neighbors complained," Emma continued. "She said I needed to stay there until you learned the rules." My hands clenched. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was confinement. I looked around. Curtains shifted. Someone closed a window. They saw it. They said nothing. That silence was almost worse than what Karen had done. As if summoned, Karen appeared at the gate. "You violated HOA guidelines," she said calmly. "You locked my daughter away," I replied, voice low. Karen sighed. "You're being dramatic." She's a child. She's a liability, Karen corrected. That word again. I stepped closer. Remove yourself from my property. Karen raised an eyebrow. Or what? I met her eyes. Or this becomes something you can't control. She smiled like she didn't believe me. That night, Emma sat on her bed, holding her sketchbook. Dad, she asked quietly, am I dangerous? My heart broke. No, I said firmly. You were never the problem. She nodded, but the doubt lingered. That's what cruelty does. It stays. The next morning, a notice appeared on our door. Violation of community standards. It referenced containment for safety. Containment. I photographed everything. The enclosure. The notice. The latch. Because I knew something Karen didn't. This wasn't an HOA issue anymore. I made a call. Not to the HOA. Not to a lawyer. To the authorities. The right ones. Because when someone locks a child away and calls it policy, that's not enforcement. That's a crime. The officer listened carefully. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He asked questions, slow, precise ones, and wrote everything down. An enclosure, he asked. Yes, I replied. Locked. He nodded. That changes things. Emma sat nearby, wrapped in a blanket, drawing quietly. Every few minutes, she looked up, as if making sure the room hadn't disappeared. I laid everything out. Photos of the enclosure. The latch. The HOA notice using the word containment. The officer's expression hardened. This isn't a code violation, he said. This could be unlawful confinement. My chest tightened not from fear, but from validation. Someone finally said it out loud. That same afternoon, Karen emailed. Her tone was cheerful. This is just a misunderstanding. We were acting in the child's best interest. Best interest. I forwarded the email to the officer. He replied with one sentence. Please do not engage further. Word spread fast. Faster than Karen expected. A neighbor I barely knew knocked on our door. I saw the enclosure, she said quietly. I didn't know what to do. Another followed. I heard her tell your daughter she needed to be managed. Statements were taken. Silence cracked. The HOA board called an emergency meeting. This time, Karen wasn't smiling. She paced. This is being blown out of proportion, she snapped. I was preventing accidents. A board member looked uneasy. Did you lock it? Karen hesitated. Only briefly. The room went still. A legal advisor joined the meeting via speakerphone. Did you confine a minor? He asked. Karen scoffed. It was for safety. The advisor paused. Safety does not justify confinement without consent. The line went quiet. An investigator came to our home. He knelt to Emma's level. Can you tell me what happened? He asked gently. Emma took a breath. She said I had to stay there, she said. Until Dad learned the rules. The investigator nodded. You did nothing wrong, he said. Emma's shoulders relaxed, just a little. Karen posted a community notice. False allegations are circulating. The HOA will pursue defamation. It backfired. People replied. Publicly. Screenshots spread. Someone posted the photo of the enclosure. Comments poured in. Karen deleted the post within hours. 2 letters arrived the same day. One from the HOA. Cease and desist. One from the authorities. Notice of investigation. Guess which one mattered? The board reconvened without Karen present. We need distance, the chair said. Immediately. A vote was taken. Karen was suspended pending investigation. Her access revoked. Her authority paused. For the first time, she couldn't just walk onto our property. That evening, Emma stepped into the backyard again. She hesitated near the shed. I waited. She took a step forward. Then another. She sat where she used to draw. I'm okay, she said quietly. I watched the sun dip below the fence and felt something lift. This is moving quickly, the investigator said during a follow-up call. There are statutes involved. What does that mean? I asked. It means this isn't just civil anymore. I closed my eyes. Karen had crossed a line she couldn't redraw. She came to the gate 2 days later. No clipboard. No smile. We can resolve this privately, she said. I shook my head. You already tried to make it private, I replied. By hiding it. She swallowed. This will ruin me. I looked past her, to the backyard, to Emma laughing softly with a neighbor's dog. You did that, I said. The official report was completed. Language precise. Unemotional. Devastating. Unlawful confinement of a minor. Abuse of authority. Discriminatory conduct. Karen's name appeared again and again. Not as an enforcer. As a subject. We waited. Not in fear. In resolve. Because once the truth is documented, it doesn't disappear. And Karen had no idea what the next step would bring. Karen heard the knock early in the morning. Not neighbors. Not HOA members. Uniforms. 2 officers stood at her door, calm and professional. Ma'am, one said, we need to ask you some questions regarding an ongoing investigation. Her confidence flickered. At the station, Karen tried to regain control. I was enforcing community rules, she insisted. I was protecting residents. The detective slid a folder across the table. Photos. Statements. Time stamps. And this, he said, tapping the page, is a locked cage. Karen's mouth opened, then closed. This isn't an HOA matter, the detective continued. This is unlawful confinement of a minor. Karen laughed nervously. That sounds dramatic. The detective didn't smile. It's a felony. The room went silent. News traveled fast. Parents talked. Teachers called. Local groups shared warnings. People weren't angry just because of what Karen did. They were angry because it could have been their child. An emergency HOA meeting followed. This time, the board spoke carefully. Karen acted independently. She exceeded her authority. We are cooperating fully. A unanimous vote passed. Karen was permanently removed. Her name erased from the board. The prosecutor read the file slowly. She was locked? Yes. For how long? Long enough. He closed the folder. We're moving forward. Emma began therapy. At first, she barely spoke. Then one day, she said, I don't like cages. The therapist nodded. No child should. Emma drew a picture, a broken lock. Karen tried to speak out online. She claimed she was misunderstood. Targeted. Victimized. But comments shut her down. You locked a child. You abused power. This isn't about rules. She deleted her account. The courtroom was quiet. Karen sat at the defense table, smaller now, quieter. The judge reviewed the charge. Unlawful confinement of a minor. Karen looked back once. I didn't flinch. HOA authority, the judge said, does not override basic human rights. He paused. Especially the rights of a child. The gavel came down. Karen was ordered to face trial. Restraining orders were issued. She was barred from any HOA involvement. Mandatory psychological evaluation. And the criminal case moved forward. No shortcuts. No excuses. One afternoon, city workers came. The structure was dismantled piece by piece. Metal clanged into the truck. Emma watched from the porch. "It's gone," she whispered. The backyard changed. Flowers replaced fear. Chalk drawings returned. Emma laughed again. Not loudly, but genuinely. The community adopted a new policy. No HOA authority over children's autonomy or discipline. It was named after Emma. Karen thought power meant control. She learned too late. Power without humanity becomes a crime. I tucked Emma into bed that night. "You're safe," I said. She nodded. "They can't lock me anymore." "No," I replied. "They can't. Rules fade. Authority changes. But evidence lasts. And cages, they don't hide the truth. They expose it."